It might not have been the prettiest game offensively for the Cowboys, but their defense really made their mark here. And I'm really impressed with where this Cowboys team is at right now, considering the margin of error with the circumstances that went into today's game. What's going on, guys? It's Space Cowboy here, talking to you guys about another Cowboys victory, 5-2 on the year, and they beat the Detroit Lions 24-6 in another impressive showing. And I understand that people are not impressed with what they saw, as I'm just, hey, we're 5-2. What is there to really complain about right now? And you might be saying, oh, Space, you can't be just doing that. That's ridiculous. But today we're going to go over what I saw on both sides of the ball, my expectations, and really how I think this is going to pan out, and really what the game plan should be moving forward. And I think that the biggest thing is that when you look at what's happening with this team, you can definitely see that it is a defensive first operation, like Mike McCarthy put it. When Mike McCarthy took the pedestal and said exactly what he said, I'm going to be real, I think that that is the formula for this team. And while I'm not a big fan of experimentation, I think that this was a good game to really hone in on what you want to do offensively with Dak Prescott moving forward, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that this offensive attack is honest, balanced, and can be effective. Like I've said in many game reviews, previews, and things like that, I just want this team to win, and I don't care how they do it at this point. If they want to run the ball more, if they want to pass the ball more, I'm just kind of like, however the game goes, you go with that, and whatever works. And today, the balance attack worked. Now, when you look at the stats here, I think that this is something that is very important. The Cowboys having 32 rush attempts, 139 yards. Dak Prescott having 19 completions on 25 pass attempts for 207 yards. If you count the sack totals, of course you deduct the yardage there and you get the number there. But that's okay. He had a very efficient day. There were throws he made that were a bit grimace worthy, like, I don't know about that. But other times he made throws where you're like, I'm glad he's back, because now that I have someone that can do these things, I can be a bit more aggressive offensively, which is going to be what the Cowboys need as they move further throughout the season. So let's actually talk about the game more in depth offensively, then we'll get to the defensive side of the ball, and then we'll talk a little bit about special teams, or we can, do a brief summary with that in the defense, but you know what I'm talking about. So with that, offensively, the Cowboys did a really good job, all things considered. Now, that doesn't mean I'm lowering my standards there. It's because I had a set expectation, and they met that. Look, I wasn't expecting them to come out guns blazing. Anybody that thought that, I'm sorry, but I don't understand why you would think that, given the circumstances. If you got a quarterback coming back, that's going to take some time to get acclimated in, probably about a week or two, and then you hit the bye week and you're all good to go. So that's what happened with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott looked a bit rusty to start off, but he got it going in the later half, and he was making key throws, and he was facilitating offense as we got into the end zone, and that's exactly what I want to see. And then you have the people out there that complain about how Dak played. Oh, he made these terrible throws. Oh, he looked like crap. Oh, he looks the same, and blah. Listen, he did not play the greatest, but he played good, and that's what's important. I get it. The people are going to bitch about the contract, and the people are going to bitch about the fact he's not throwing for 500 yards. This ain't fantasy football, people, okay? When you have a coach that says this is a defense-first operation, which I think a lot of people have been wanting to see from this Cowboys team for a while now, and then you have Dak go out there and only throw the ball 25 times, and he only throws the ball 207 yards and a touchdown. I mean, what the hell else do you expect? He's not going to get high stat volumes if he's not passing the ball a whole lot, which these are the same people that are saying, oh, well, he shouldn't be passing the ball a whole lot. Well, they didn't pass the ball a whole lot. It's such a nonsense, okay? He's not perfect. He didn't play great, but he played good. He played mistake-free football, and he did what he had to do to win the game. There are things that I think he will get better acclimated to as we go throughout the season, and that's what's important. I'm not going to get on a guy on his first game back when there's nothing really other than a couple throws here and there to get upset about. So, just saying. Then when you look at this rushing attack, I think that we had a bit of a scare when Zeke got hit in the knee. But this was a really good rushing attack, and they did exactly what I wanted them to do. However, I'm looking at frickin' Kellen Moore, and this is going to be my biggest thing. I don't know what the hell his problem is, but oh my god, Kellen, can you please, for the love of God, fix your running patterns and how you do these play calls and how you do them in the moment of the game. Like, why are we running this reverse crap with CeeDee Lamb towards the end of the game when you could just be running it up the middle, or rather running it outside, and not this bullshit where we're running it to where you're hoping the guards pull, and then it's like, it's just, oh my god, I don't know. It's just, he's been really irking me, and I'm worried that it's going to bite the Cowboys in the ass. Now then again, it's one game. Dak Prescott's back. We'll see what happens versus Chicago. And then when you have yourself running the ball at 4.3 yards a clip, especially when you're in the second half of these games and you're trying to put these teams away, that's where guys like Zeke and Tony are going to come into play. So that when you're up by a score or two, you can keep the ball away from the team's offense, wear their defense out, score, and just put the games away. And I think that that's going to be where it matters. You look at what they did otherwise, aside from running the ball with the targets. Lamb had a good game. Brown had a good game. Aside from the fumble, that was a really good play. He had a good game. Schultz had a solid game. And, I mean, look, I'm not complaining. You know, you did your job. You made key plays when it mattered. And that doesn't excuse that early start to the team, because I'm not sure what they were trying to do offensively. And then there's this gun shyness that happened where rather than going for it when you're right on their goal line and your defense is doing its thing, you kick the field goal. I don't know. I'm not the ones deciding these things, but Mike, I don't know, man. You should have gone for it, but we won the game, but it still bothered me. Now, you look at the defense. They did very, very good, all things considered, but there's still one thing that's still irking me. It's this run defense, man, and I don't know what exactly is going on, but holy crap, this is a problem. The way Detroit was running on the Cowboys, it really looked like it could be a problem moving forward, and I think that's really going to be the Achilles heel of this defense. And there were moments where they did stop the run, and it was cool. But when they started getting the ball to the outside, your linebackers really weren't doing a whole lot. Now, I do have to give a shout out to one particular player that did a fantastic job. Actually, two. Number one, Micah Parsons prevented a touchdown. His hustle to get that guy down before he got to the end zone, and then the next play, there was a fumble. That's huge. That was a momentum-changing play that allowed the Cowboys to play keep away. Good job. Sam Williams, man, what an arrival. I mean, a great way to end the game. He had 2 sacks. The fumble recovery, like I was like, and he slammed the guy to the ground. I was like, oh my goodness, like, that's great to see. It's really good to see these key contributors, because we're going to need these in the long haul. Right? We want to keep this rotation fresh. We want it to be, you know, nasty, scary for other teams when they go up against us. The Cowboys still lead the league in sacks, I believe, and that's what's important. I saw a stat where they're on pace for 70 sacks, like right underneath the NFL record, and that's crazy, you know, and I think that's important because, you know, the sacks are one thing, but how they're getting the sacks is impressive, right? Trevon Diggs got an interception, and unfortunately for Jordan Lewis, well, he got an interception. It looks like he suffered a Liz Frank injury, and he's going to be out for some time. So, Deron Bland, you're up. Let's see what you can do here. And I'm excited to see what he can do, man. And I think that, really, it's going to come down to how well he plays, because I think that Bland has earned a spot in the rotation. I'm not saying that Lewis is bad. I'm not saying anybody else is bad. Well, Anthony Brown has been having the greatest year, all things considered. But again, I like what I'm seeing. You know, you guys are having really good defensive play. The main thing is this run whole situation and this linebacking core instances like that. Barr and LVE didn't really play particularly well either. But again, I'm not concerned at this point in time because, you know, if your front seven can't do any, excuse me, if your front four really can't do anything, then your linebackers are going to struggle, and we know that from experience, right? So there's that. And then Kavontae Turpin, man, you know, I really thought he was going to break one in this game, but he's been doing wonders, you know, giving you solid field position, and that's all that matters, you know. You know, Brian Anger, he hasn't done really a whole lot to get on my nerves of recent. It looks like we had the, you know, the little scare where we're like, okay, 2 shanks in a row, what's going on here? But he's been doing good, so that's great. Now, the Cowboys do have Chicago on deck, and when you look at the landscape of the NFC, you know, the Giants are 6-1, the Eagles are 6-0, the Cowboys are right behind them at 5-2, and so you need to win this game next week because, again, you win games, let fate decide its course. For all we know, the Giants lose. For all we know, the Eagles lose. Like, we don't know. I'm not guaranteeing anything because at the end of the day, I just want us to win games and just see where the season takes us. Because you only got 1 bye week. And, you know, if so help us we're a wild card team, I really don't care. We just need this Cowboys team to play good football at the right time. Now, they aren't playing good, great football offensively right now. But once they start getting into a rhythm with Dak under center, I think the key thing you were missing, and I wanted to add this because this is something I'm looking forward to in the Chicago game. You need to be able to go into play action a lot more. And I think that Kellen was worried for Dak, and I don't think they wanted to pass. Like, it looked like Detroit was selling to stop the run initially, and it was like, you really should be doing a play action pass here because you could get them to bite and you get a big play. Now, they still won. Cool. But that's something I'm going to need to see. We can't do this scared stuff. And I felt like at the beginning, there was this, like, tame nature to it. Like, hey, Dak's back. We're all good. But, like, you can't be doing that type of stuff, man. I don't care who's under center. So, the Cowboys win. They're moving on to Chicago. And I think that the Chicago game is where you're going to need to start getting some stuff together. Bye week's upcoming. We need to see something, you know, because this is going to be the final game until the bye, obviously. They've reached the 5-win threshold. They're actually now better than what I anticipated them to be. I thought they'd be 4-4 at this point, and they're 5-2. They win next week and they're 6-2. Now we got something going here. This is a good Cowboys team, ladies and gentlemen. Do not put any other doubts in your mind. Now, how far the team goes, different discussion. But I really like what I'm seeing here. And I don't want to take up too much of your time. However, I think we will be fine for now. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit that notification bell. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Goodbye.